Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from within the states, internationally. Thank you for your time and thank you for your support of the Butterflies Win podcast. Yes, I am Jan Taylor, and we're doing it again in a different way. We're not in the studio because today, this one, I needed to be in the home studio and I needed to have an intentional setting for this because this episode, it's about a mother's love just in time for Mother's Day, wrapped around the heart. And there's another thing that's unique about this whole thing, love, a mother's love. We'll talk about that later, but let's give the ground rule. Remember, this is not your normal podcast. We're not in this to be perfect. Imperfection is what we love. It's just fine because we've been through some things. We're going through some things right now. And we're in some things that sometimes sound and voice can't even express what we're dealing with because we're survivors. We're fighters. We're thrivers. And we welcome all of you to come and be a part of the Butterflies Win Healing Movement. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Please do. Hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Encourage me. Pray for me and the rest of us who are on this journey trying to just do, some say, one day at a time. When you are a cancer survivor, or you are a trauma survivor, or you are a chronic illness survivor, or you are a severe spinal injury survivor, I apply all of them to me. I take, sometimes my days are 1 second at a time. 1 minute, 1 moment, 1 hour. Oh, and sometimes it's 1 day at a time. So, as we move forward into this episode, let's start praying. Father God, thank you for this day. Thank you for access. Because there's nothing we could have done or said that would provoke you to give us this. Nothing. So we're grateful. Oh, we're grateful. And if you look at the background, it's intentional because that's me as a toddler baby. That's my mom right there. That's mommy. That is I don't know if you can see it. There's a candle behind it, but it's a circle and it says, love grows here. Because everybody knows I love myself some butterflies. And because we're talking about the moms and the mother's love, that's where it all starts. The growth starts right there. Hey, okay. All right, so we're going to get into it. And again, we remind everybody who's never been on the show with me, it's a no judgment zone. Oh no, we don't judge. We come as we are, willing and able to just show up. Thank you. And I don't take that for granted. Thank you. If you hear the music in the background, listen to it. It's called the Holy Spirit. Feel His presence. It's an instrumental piece of a violinist. And they don't have her name there. It's, I think, promoted by an AI piece, but it's beautiful. So I don't own the rights to it, but I'm glad that I'm able to share it with you. And I'll give you some of the description information so that maybe you can find it and you can put it into your playlist as well. All right. So moving on, this episode will be broken down into 3 segments. Before I get into it, allow me to start out by saying If you get to hear this episode on Mother's Day and you are a mother, I salute you and I give you absolute honor and wish you a happy Mother's Day. If you get to hear this after Mother's Day, or if it's on Mother's Day and you're not a mother, I salute you too. Because somewhere down the line, you may not have been biologically connected to a child, but they were connected to you. And your motherly instincts that we all women get inspired them, covered them in some way. Know that. And if you get to hear this message after Mother's Day and the celebration is over, I do pray that your day was wonderful and you felt honored and you felt loved. And if for some reason neither of the above fit your scenario, or you're a mother but you didn't feel honored or loved, just know one thing. Without a shadow of a doubt, there is a one and only one who loves you unconditionally. God, our Father, the most holy one, loves you just like you are. And the fact that you made it to this day, that's enough for all of us to be grateful. Oh, we're so grateful. And I think about this as I was writing this message and putting it together. God is so intentional. It hit me. He got someone, or a group of someones to approve the month of May as a national celebration month for two vital components that are actually interwoven into each other. You know what they are? Mother's Day and a cause that's very dear to my heart, stroke awareness. The month of May, those two are celebrated. And when you think about it, after I did my research and stuff, they do come together because Mother's Day is straight from the heart. Stroke starts in the heart. So just look at that. That's not a coincidence. That's so God. Oh, that's so God. They both reflect love. Wow. And the Bible tells us that the two greatest commandments are love Him with all your heart and love your neighbor as you would love yourself. That's Matthew 22, 37 through 40. Matthew 22, 37 through 40. Read it for yourself. And then there's another one where the Bible gets really deep. And it says, God is love. God is love. 1 John 4:8. Read that for yourself. And you'll walk away with a different perspective about this thing called love. I know many of you were like I was, and you answered this question the same way I did. Someone asked you back in the day, it might have been recently, who was your first love? And we answered it with maybe a male's name or maybe a female's name. Someone who we were in a relationship with or a situationship with. But if the truth is to be told, since we got the spiritual path all pointed out and laid out, the truth about that is going to come right now. I'm going to dig into it in the flesh side. Just a teeny bit. Our first love is our mother. Your mother was your first love. Even if you were blessed, as I was, to have an awesome, magnificent father, my daddy. I felt he was the best in the whole wide world. Now that's my story. But he too, he was not my first love. My mommy was my first love. Wow. God brought that to me so deep, and it just made me get deeper into this message for you guys today. Our first heartbeat, wow, came from a mother's love. Wrap your head around that. Our first heartbeat came from our mother's love. And you know something else about that is, hit me, wherever she was capable of starting at. And let's remember, this channel is a no judgment zone, so we don't judge. Because some people, we got to meet them right in the depth of this thickness, real thickness here. So I'm going to say it again. Wherever she was capable of starting at, that love in and of itself will carry us for the rest of our lives. I'm going to go right on into segment 1 on that one. Think about this. Before we ever cried, let me turn it down just a little bit. Before we were named, before the world knew we existed, before anyone knew a creation had begun. Oh my God, she knew. Your mother knew. Oh yes, she knew what was going on. And it was that time some of them was able to scream it at the top of their lungs that something miraculous had happened inside her. And oh, there was some mothers that was not a good time. She was not in a good place. She was not. So that's why this message is so important on Mother's Day. Because, for some mothers, that beginning was, or it is, the happiest time of her life. In reality, she may have had to go through some horrific leaps, some unbearable valleys, before she became in sync with you belonging to her. For some mothers, that beginning, she was elated. Her reality is the thought that you exist, and she has been blessed to carry this seed, and that you rely on her physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. It allowed her to ensure that your growth process will be completed in the most exceptional way possible. Let's wrap our heads and our minds around this. Pause for a second. Take that in. Take this in. That the first rhythm didn't happen in isolation. Oh no. Oh no. Think about that. This miraculous creation inside of our mothers forced her to carry a human being whom is instantly impacted by her movements, her body movement, her breathing, her spiritual capacity, her mental and her emotional world. Baby, that's a lot of weight on one person. That's a lot for one person to carry. Even before the baby starts growing, that's a lot. Oh, that's a lot to take in. Wow. And let's be very clear. Every time I say that phrase, I think about my girl, JW, in Texas. She always would say that. When she get ready to tell you something that's real, baby, and it's right off the cuff, straight at you, right in, she gonna tell you, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. So here we go. Wherever she was capable of starting at, whether it was calm, whether she was overwhelmed, whether she was in pain, whether she was heartbroken, whether she was in a strong place in her life, or whether she was downright struggling, had it bad going on. Her presence shaped the first grounding that you and I ever knew. Just her presence. Just her presence. So today's episode, this episode is about imperfection. Of course we would do that because that's how Butterfly's Win does it. This episode is about presence. Her presence. No matter where or when our mom accepted the notion that she would fight for our lives. Do you understand that? Wherever she was or whatever was going on, there was a moment that she accepted the notion that she would fight for us, for you, for the rest of your life. Even if she exited somewhere down the road, that moment she fought for you, for your life. So it's about how a mother's love, in whatever form it came, understand, becomes a rhythm that's formed in that body, which remembers that whole process. The body remembers it for the rest of both of those lives. If there was triplets or multiple babies, for the rest of all of those that are intertwined inside there. It's forever remembered. Don't kid yourself. Forever. It speaks. This is something that researchers have talked about, how it already has a voice. The heartbeat is the first language we as a baby ever learn. It speaks before their words, before you even have a memory, before there is any kind of understanding or misunderstanding. When a baby's heart begins beating, that rhythm between him and his mother develops within the mother's living environment. A mother's nervous system, her stress, her calmness, her whereabouts, her love, her hatred, all of that is passed onto this innocent life. And it's interesting how the body learns safety before the mind ever can. If the mother develops a steady, positive rhythm, it teaches that baby something simple but powerful. It teaches that baby, I am here for you. I am making it safe for you. and you belong to me. You understand that? If the mother develops a positive rhythm, that rhythm teaches that baby something so simple, but it's so powerful. At that time, as that process is going on, that baby understands. Some of them got a little messed up at times, but let me tell you something. When it's going the way it's, like I said, positive, when it's going the way God created it to go, the baby understands that mommy is saying, I am here for you forever, and I will make life safe for you forever, and you belong to me until he separates us. Oh my God. And even when circumstances aren't ideal or good, even when fear or exhaustion exists, that initial steady rhythm. That's what I mean. Even when it's not positive, it went off on the banks. But before that, it was one time steady. And at that time, there was an unspoken language of which has left an everlasting imprint on our lives. Now here comes segment 2. We're getting down to the end here. This one is a little bumpy. It's a little edgy. And we're going to ask God to go in the front. He's been in the front, but we're going to pause because some of us might have got in front of him. But God, we need you to get in front because we're going to need to be somewhere. Okay? Because what we're going to talk about now is wherever that mother, was capable of starting at, we're going to give her grace right now. This is where compassion matters. At the initial creation, during the pregnancy or both, some mothers were rested. They were at peace. They were in a solemn, wonderful space. Some mothers were tired. They were exhausted. They were frustrated when this pregnancy and this whole rhythm bond took place. Some were joyful, elated over their minds and excitement when that rhythm was taking place. Some were barely surviving. They were in a bad place, socially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. Well, let me tell you something. Love does not need perfection to be formative. In order for it to form into what it's supposed to be, it doesn't need perfection. God's so good with his grace that he made sure all it needs is for her to be present. He'll do the rest. He'll do the rest. She just needs to be present. And because, hold on, I gotta turn the fan a little bit here. And because it's a divine orchestrated creation, wherever she was capable of starting, God said, that's enough to set a rhythm. Wow, did you hear that? Because it was a divine orchestrated creation, wherever she was capable of starting at, God said that was enough to set a rhythm. This episode honors mothers, not as trailblazers, figures got it going on. No. This episode is honoring mothers as humans, doing the best they can and the best that they could with what they had or with what they have at that particular time. This is something I came up with. Listen to this. Before I ever cried, before I was named, before I was even seen, my heart was already beating. And that rhythm began inside my mother. surrounded by her body, surrounded by her breath, surrounded by her love. We'll catch that later on if you didn't catch it right there. Because we're going to go ahead and go on into segment 3. And we're closing up. Talk about how that rhythm carries us into adulthood. That first grounding doesn't disappear when we grow up. It shows up later. It shows up as resilience during a crisis, as the ability to self-soothe. It shows up as faith when answers are missing. That first grounding shows up as steadiness when the body has been through trauma. And I'm going to make it personal. When my own body was injured, when illness tested my endurance, when my fear tried to speak louder than the hope I had in my heart, my body already knew how to breathe and get through it, how to endure it, how to sit in it and stay and know that God will make a way. Long before I learned how to pray through pain, my nervous system had already learned how to survive. Guess why? Because grounding, there's something about grounding that mother's love came in a different form. That's something that's really deep. Because for some of us, the grounding came by way of grandmothers, aunties, other family female members, caregivers, spiritual mothers. And some, it was just God stepping in and covering us. Let me say this. Wherever you fit in the segments outlined in this message, your biggest takeaway has to be, the biggest takeaway is, love still reached you. Did you hear me? The biggest takeaway of this whole message is love. Her love still reached you. Even if it traveled a different route, it was still her love. From even those other people, it reached you. And before I close totally, I want to invite you into a quiet moment. Let's place our hand over our heart. Okay, that's the left side. Okay, let's not laugh, because remember, this is Butterflies Win, and we don't judge, because there are some people that are on the other side of this here camera that they're in a special place, and finding the heart and the other parts of the body might not be quite that simple. So we have to guide them, okay? And it's okay. It's all right. Put your hand on your left side right there and feel your heart. Feel your heart. Close your eyes and allow your mind to connect to your breathing. Let's do that for about a minute. Okay, let's breathe in. This beat carried you through beginnings you don't even remember, and challenges that you could never imagine that had to do with her. This heartbeat, it's steady, it's faithful, it's still here because of her. Before there were emotions, just know that there was her nurturing. Before the flight into earth, because remember, she could have made a different choice. Another option was available, and she chose not to go that route. She chose to stay in that space and nurture you the best she knew how. Remember that, the best she knew how. So before the flight of that baby into this earth, that day we called her day of labor, she was still protecting you. She was still protecting you in that moment. She had to listen and do it all right in order for you to make it through the flight. Do you understand that? Look at God. Before you became who you are today, whether you're top of your game, at the middle of your game, at the bottom of your game, you doing well, you barely making it. It does not matter. You and I, we were all held by her heartbeat. Breathe on that and gently allow yourself to connect to your right now. Where you are right now, be grateful. Be grateful to your mother. Give her grace. And remember what we said earlier. Before I ever cried, before I was named, before anyone saw me, my heart was already beating. And that rhythm began inside my mother, because she surrounded me with her body, with her breathing, and most of all, with whatever the love she knew how to give. Smile and thank God for her heartbeat. Did you hear what I said? Say it out loud. Thank you, Father, for her heartbeat. Be personal. Thank you, Father, for my mother's heartbeat. Wow. Take that. Take that. And churn. Stay in it for a little while. Much love to you from the team and everybody at Butterflies Win. The Healing Movement podcast is on the rise only because of you.